In this step, we are going to start the website. If you are just now joining us, please check out the first few videos. We just started off, we downloaded Micro Studio Coach, we signed up for the account, we bought the domain, and now we're about to launch the website. And for this tutorial, we're going to use Azure. You can use whatever you like, but for us and for my preferences, I like using Azure. It's fast, it's easy, it's simple, and that's what we're going to use today. If you like using something else, send me a message. I could re-record something for you using your favorite tool. But for now, let's get this website up and going for summer. Doggy stuff. So you got a whole credit. You got all this money here that you can use for the whole month, and that's free money. So then, so it's free to get started, and then we can see how much it'll cost, and then we can decide to keep on going later. So let's go ahead and create this. So let's call this doggy stuff. Not capital. No spaces. Now let's create a brand new resource group, and then let's use the same name. That's okay. And let's see what this chose. It chose that's fine. Let's just keep going. And we're going to create a new database. So let's go ahead and type doggy stuff DB server. No space, no capitals. DB server. And then let's choose the basic info. Now we're going to, actually, no, we made a mistake. I'm sorry. This is the name of the database. I'm sorry. Doggy stuff DB. There we go. And then here's the server name over here. Type doggy stuff DB server over here. For everybody watching, you can choose whatever you like, whatever's easy to remember. Just make sure that there's no spaces, no capitals. And for the server, it's just convenient if you put DB server on the back. And for the database, it's just convenient if you have DB on the back. It's just easy to recognize when we refer to it later. Server admin login. Now, just to keep it simple, how about let's just use summer, SUMMER, and let's keep a really simple password. And for the location, let's just choose. Well, if the server is in the United States, uh-oh, we don't have much of a choice. Okay, let's put Central USA. We can change this later. It's really easy. And no spaces. It doesn't like that, so we have to make sure there are no spaces. And for the pricing tier, let's start off on an S3 and then bring it back down later. You are choosing a free tier. Okay, that's fine. We'll just deal with it. That's cool. No problem. It's just a little bit slower. That's fine. We'll just have some patience. select. Okay, application insights, we can do that later. And then let's create that database server and NopCommerce instance. This will take about a good 5 minutes or so. Let's let that run. Now, while that's running, we can go find and install an SSL. Okay, SAN multi-domain SSL means you can have one server with many names. Let's say that in the end, you're like, okay, I did really big business. How about I help some other people out? Okay, so then what you can do is you can have one server with a lot of names on the same place, and they can just share the same certificate. Okay, so we just purchased the SSL, and this SSL is a SAN, which means multi, and we can add as many domains and as many subdomains as we really need. Now let's go ahead and configure the SSL. My orders, open the order, click on configure now. My orders, configure SSL. Let's go ahead and type that out. Sorry. So now we can go and download some cool tools. The first one that shows up is this DigiCert certification utility. Very convenient. So let's download and install that. And create a CSR. SSL, company name, doggystuff.store. No, no capitals, no spaces. Now over here we'll put doggy stuff, the name of the company. Now over here it's okay if you have capitals and spaces. Okay, let's keep going. Put the city and state. And we got to remember to check SSL. Okay. Now let's go ahead and copy the SSR, the CSR. And let's go back over here to the request. Take this and go Control All. Control Paste. Okay. Now we can just go ahead and create the email for it too. And then for the approval email, let's choose administrator. And switch this to English just to make it easier for everyone to understand. That's okay. So we're just going to go to the admin section. We're going to go to domains. And we're going to add the domain. And then we're going to type then we're going to use the GoDaddy account that we just opened up. We'll just let them take care of it. So add the DNS records for me. Okay, no problem. Okay, now we have a domain registered with Office 365. So adding an email is going to be really fast and easy. So we're going to keep on going and install this SSL. At this point, we've set the email. We bought the domain. We set the email up. Now we're going to start finish configuring the SSL. Okay, so under active users, we're going to give this one a license. Okay, so this email is now active. Okay, now we're going to select the email that we just created, administrator. Just to keep it quick, we're going to select other. And continue. Let's go ahead and fill that out. Okay, so now there's going to be an email sent to the account. And we can get the SSL straight from the account. So we can install it. All right, on this step, we are going to take this validation code and finish up the SSL. So at this point, we got the email from the SSL, and we took the code that was in that email, we followed the link, and then pasted it in. So now that the SSL control is confirmed, we can continue with the next step. So on this step, we're going to go ahead and install the SSL. So I'm going to open the attachment that they sent me, and they have all of these. I'm going to go ahead and extract that now. So Summer called up and she said her stomach hurts and she needs some help. This is the great thing about Micro Studio, is that we can help and we can delegate to each other. And basically I can become her VA, or you can call it an IT secretary. So I can go ahead and execute process on her behalf, get things done. All right, so let's go ahead and get this SSL installed. So we're installing the SSL. Really simple. I'm just going to just double click on these, install, and then I'm going to put on the local machine. And I'm going to click on automatically select. Okay. And then I'm going to just keep going. Okay, so I installed all of these certificates. They should be available now in the application. Refresh. And then here is the certificate. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to export it now. Export the private key. PFX file, include all certificates in the certification path if possible. And then I'm going to protect it with a password. Now I have a PFX that I can upload to Azure. I'm going to export it to a different location. Let's export to the desktop, see if that works. Okay. See, different folders that they've got different permissions, and if you try and save it to the C directly, something like that, you'll get an error like that. So save it to somewhere where that it's within your path, like your documents or the desktop. Make sure that you have a really good password on your Windows account because this is really sensitive. You don't want people accessing this file. Keep it somewhere safe, and then just repeat the process because we do have a multiple domain. I mean, you can, if you have a good idea for another domain and you want to add it to this certificate, follow the process, add a SAN record, and then just re-export it again. So it's pretty simple. And if you guys get stuck, send us a message and we'll walk you through it. That's okay. Okay, right here on the desktop, we have this PFX, and we're ready to upload it to Azure. Okay, so now we're ready to upload the SSL certificate and install it on the Azure website. So let's open up the Doggy Stuff app service, and then we're going to go to, well, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to set the custom domain. Now at this step, we're going to make sure that the domain is pointing to the instance over here at Azure. So we're going to click on custom domain, and here's the IP address that we should be pointing to with the A record. So we can just take that, copy it, let's go back to the domain manager, and let's update the A record. At points to here, and let's save that. Okay, now here's what's really cool. I'm going to go to custom domain, add hostname, and we're going to type the hostname, which is doggy stuff .store, and then we're going to validate it. And we've got some choices. Let's just choose the first one for simplicity, and it's going to give me an error, and it says you need to do this first before you can do that. So I need to add a txt record with a host record of @ pointing to the instance at Azure. So I'm going to just copy that. I'm going to go back to the domain manager, and then we'll just add the text record. Add txt at, sorry, there we go. Text value, and let's paste that. Now let's go back and validate again. Okay, we're good to go. Now we can go, remember click add hostname. Just because you validated it, it didn't add. You got to remember to click add hostname. And it'll give you a visual confirmation as soon as it's done. Usually there's a notification here that shows that it's finished. Sometimes it goes a little bit slow. The websites are like that. Let's go ahead and try that again. validate. Using the A record, it's going to check if it's okay. After it's okay, add the host name. And now it's giving me a confirmation adding the host name doggystuff.store. Okay, now that the domain is added, my next step is I can assign the PFX from the SSL. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Then we'll go down to SSL certificates and we're going to upload the certificate that we just had. It's on my desktop right now. So SSL binding, this is where we're going to bind it to. We're going to I'm going to upload my certificate. Now I'm going to open it up and it's on the desktop. Doggy Stuff Store, open, upload. Oh, I forgot to type my password. Upload. Okay, now that the SSL certificate is at the Azure instance, now I can bind it to the website. SSL binding, add binding. Choose the host name that I just added. Choose the certificate. Add binding. Now, it's easy to make small mistakes here and there. It's normal. Whether you have a www that points to with a CNAME to another record, or you add that as a wildcard here, if I just lost you with the last few words, it's okay. This happens, and there are multiple ways to finish this up and make sure that no matter what people type, it'll bring them to the right site. If you guys get stuck, you don't know what you did wrong, send us a message. I'll do my best to see if we can help out. Okay, so what's the next step? Let's go back and finish the installation for the website. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that the website is reachable and that it's up and running. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on doggystuff.store, and it's going to land us on the initial page for NopCommerce. The first time it loads up, it's going to be a little bit slow, and that's okay. While we're here, I'm going to go to Application Settings, and I'm going to change some things. The first thing I'm going to change is Always On. I'm going to turn that to on, and then I'm going to save it. Okay, that's no problem. This happens a lot. What we're going to do is we're just going to refresh it and then let it load again. That's okay. So let's go ahead and stop it. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure that's okay. And then we're going to start it. See, when you change things like the URL, there are some things on the back that happen. And if those values change while the server is live, it needs to refresh itself. So I know when you guys are following videos, sometimes what you see on the screen here and your instance, sometimes you see something that's it surprises you and you're like, I can't follow your video because this happened. That's okay. Most of the time, if you just refresh it, it'll be okay. And if after you refresh it and you still get stuck, again, send us a message and we'll try our best to help out. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. Hey, it came up. Okay, cool. All right. Now, here's what we got to do. First, let's put the name. Now, because I'm the IT secretary, I'm going to put my admin so I can go ahead and manage this for Summer. Admin at Micro Studio. No, I'm going to do this from Coach.Fm. So I'm going to put donate at Coach.Fm. Okay, we're going to create some sample data so it'll look nice and pretty. And then we're not going to choose create database if it doesn't exist because we already created the database. And then we're just going to post the raw string because I've noticed that if you use the raw string, there are less surprises. So let's just do it that way. I'm going to go back to Azure. I'm going to go to my application settings and scroll down. And then here's the connection string. I'll click on that. I'll go Control All, Control Copy. Be very careful not to change any values. I'm going to go back and I'm going to paste it. And then if you're an IT kind of a guy and you know how to append values, it's probably a good idea to add a timeout value. It's not necessary, but it helps. If you don't understand what that means, don't worry about it. And I'm going to go ahead and click Install Now. Now I'm going to let that run. Usually it takes 2 or 3 minutes. And it's very likely to throw an error that says it timed out. That's okay. The database will still write. It's just that opening up the database takes longer than the server was expecting. That's no problem. It happens a lot. And all you need to know is as long as you have somebody like us send us a message, we can go in and see if everything's okay. And we'll just wait this out. Okay, so the site's up. That was pretty cool. We can just go ahead and get the business going, right? I mean, the database is live. And as you can see, the SSL is installed. We're ready to do some business. Okay, so on the next few steps, we're going to start launching some products. Summer, she likes doggy stuff, so I'm going to go source some doggy stuff for her. And then I'm going to install some stuff. I'm going to throw some stuff up there. We're going to do a logo. And then I'm going to hire some people on Summer's behalf to run it for her. Okay, so I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one when we talk about Nop Studio and getting the products up.